My husband and I are currently in the process of designing the life of our dreams out here in Bangkok. And when I say it is insane, just thinking about how vastly different our lives are today on this here July 31st, 2026, compared to what our lives looked like 6 months ago, compared to what our lives looked like on December 31st, 2025. Like, it is wild to me. It's crazy, but God, like, nothing but God. Because there's no way we could have planned this. In yesterday's video, as well as the day before, I did speak about some of the things that we've navigated, some of the trade-offs that we've made. But today I really want to speak to what we are excited about looking forward, how we are being intentional around the life that we want to create, where we truly feel like we are living out here. Not in the sense of like, okay, we're living in Thailand, but like, no, like feeling alive, like truly knowing for a finty fact that we are making the most out of our time out here in Bangkok and in Thailand as a concept. And so when we decided to say yes to Thailand, we were seeking out adventure. We were seeking out a different way of life. We were seeking out an opportunity to really experience how good things could get when we wholeheartedly trusted God and took a leap of faith all the way across the world. I chuckle out of like, I have moments every day where I'm like, girl, you are really all the way across, like all the way across the world. And so I think the thing is here, we're not across the world on vacation. There is work that needs to be done. And I spoke to a bit of like what that routine looks like in yesterday's video. But life is all about balance. And how do we balance the structure and the work that goes into Monday through Friday with a different energy, like a different experience on the weekends? And that is something that we have actually spent a lot of time talking through, because you can literally, like Thailand, I've said this in past videos, but Thailand is like, Thailand and Bali are both like adult playgrounds where you can literally wake up, decide if you want a daytime adventure and you love shopping, there are plenty of malls that will just blow your mind. Excuse me. If you want beach, plenty of beautiful islands. If you want cafes, some of the coolest cafes I've seen in the world. If you want nightlife, like whatever type of adventure, it's literally wake up, choose your adventure and go. And so here it's like, okay, for us, we know that everything is like go, go, go during the week, right? So weekends have officially, like, this is how we approach weekends, is 3 main categories. And as I say the categories, I'm like, girl, you are still structured, because what? Anyways, hear me out. First one being rest. Every single weekend, at least one day, pure rest. That could look like getting a facial. That could look like going to the spa. That could look like getting a 2-hour massage. That could look like us sleeping in until, well, we can't really sleep in. We struggle to sleep in because we wake up at 5 every morning, but sleeping in until 8 and just hanging out in the condo, laying in bed, binging Netflix, like whatever is needed for us to just like hit pause. Now, one thing that I am looking forward to experiencing is an onsen out here. Onsen culture out here is like so fascinating. And for those who are like me, who had no idea what an onsen was until I moved here, it's essentially, and if anyone is Japanese and listening to this or has a deeper experience in onsen, like world, because it's literally it's a whole different world from just a spa. But onsen is essentially like a place where you relax, and there's different baths with different temperatures that are essentially meant to help with your skin. The more I talk through this, I'm like, girl, you don't really know the ins and outs, but it's like mineral water that they use in the baths. And so they have private ones where if you're like me, I'm probably first round, I think I'm gonna need private, because the public ones, there's a place called Let's Relax where I've heard that like they have beautiful onsen, but it could be tens of people, up to like 100 people in some of the facilities here, and all they give you is like a towel. So as a woman, it's like you choose between putting the towel up here or down there to cover yourself up. But besides that, like there's no bathing suits. You take a shower beforehand and you're just naked in a body of water, in a confined body of water, not the ocean, with a bunch of strangers. I'm not ready for that type of activity just yet. But yeah, I would love to go to an onsen, and I think what's really cool, based off what my coworkers have shared, is that you pay a flat fee, and then you literally just get to relax, and there's like relaxation chairs and spa music, and it's just meant to be an atmosphere of like wusa. And then you can add on like a massage or a facial depending on the facility that you are going to. I'm gonna sip on some water because I sound like a little frog. Yesterday I went to dinner with two of my friends out here, and there's a lot of cigarette smoking out here, and I guess they're allowed to smoke in the restaurant, and my throat has just not been doing well today, but we're gonna power through. So yeah, relaxation and like rest is a non-negotiable. So we take the Sabbath real serious out here, because we are on go, like Monday through Friday. Now, the second big thing that we prioritize on the weekends is community. And this could look like two things. Some weekends, it's community back home, where it's like just catching up with friends and family, you know, sending the pictures and like the updates on how things are going, catching up on text messages, which I still have a backlog back to May when we moved out here that I need to get through, but that's not the point. We're giving ourselves grace, right? Okay, so yeah, that could look like community back home, and actually having like time to do thorough catch-ups during the week. There's a small window between when we wake up, you know, 5 to 6 is quiet time, but like there's a small window of like that 6 to 9 before we start work, and then the 6 to 9 when we're done with work and wrapping up before we go to bed. And so it's a really tight window of free time. So weekends are great because, you know, that window's a bit wider. But anywho, it could look like community back home, but also building community here. So there's one group that I personally have only gone to one event. I think Darian's been to like 3 or 4, called Adventures While Black. And it has been a phenomenal community of solid Black people who are looking to come together and essentially do life together out here in Bangkok. And there's some people also from other parts of Thailand that live in other parts of Thailand as well. But we went to their Juneteenth event a couple weeks ago, and it was just lovely to be surrounded by blackity black. I almost said blacks. Let me not say that, because we for a while said blacks at Microsoft, and I got so used to saying that. But the blackity black people, how about that? So yeah, that has been great. They have a WhatsApp where I've been able to get recommendations on like reputable spas and reputable meal prep companies, which is a whole different thing that I'm excited to get into, like really getting a regimen down for taking care of my body. So yeah, the community has been great, where to get your hair done, nails done, all that jazz. So that has been another thing we've been focusing on here in Bangkok. Also have some friends that I had before moving out here that we are definitely due for some catch ups, but yeah, and then coworkers, of course, getting to know them outside of work, those that like, we've built a solid not reputation, relationship outside of work, which by the way, I should have I should have prefaced at the beginning of this video, but I am actually recording at 8 p.m. because I went out to dinner with some of my coworkers turned friends last night, and dinner turned into ladies' night out here. We went to this place called Baya, and they have free-flowing Prosecco every Thursday for ladies starting at 9 p.m. So of course the girls were out until almost midnight, so I did not get my video recorded this morning. We're still committed to the cause, so hence why we are here at 8 p.m. getting it done. So just prefacing, if she is going off the rails or losing train of thought, it has been a full work day, and yeah, we're just in a different headspace, but we're here. So community is the second thing. The third big thing which I mentioned earlier, is adventure. Like, we came out here to truly enjoy Thailand. And a bit of context with this adventure piece, I had reminded Darian last night about how much I wanted to experience the world with him when we first got married. I remember both of my parents had told us, like, when y'all get married, take some time, like, have a marriage where it's just the two of y'all getting to know each other deeper, getting to experience life where it's just the two of you before you start having kids. Because once those kids come, they didn't say this specifically, but the more I learn about parenthood, it's like, there's an element of like, it's their world, and a lot of your world now revolves around them, and of course not losing your individuality and all that jazz. But the reality that, like, it's no longer just like, oh yeah, let's up and go to Chiang Mai for for a long weekend. Like, there's other considerations that need to be taken into account. But anywho, when we first got married, I was really desiring, first 2 to 3 years, just like seeing the world. But the reality was that Darian was still in grad school. So he has his PhD, but when we got married, he still had another year or so. Yeah, he still had another year or so until he actually like walked across the stage. And so what that meant is that for anyone who has been in grad school full time, you're not making a whole bunch of money off of like a grad student stipend or TAing or anything like that. And so it was challenging for me personally to release that dream of seeing the world together. But I always had hope and faith that like eventually we would get there. And to now be living across the world, like experiencing the world together in a way that I could have never planned. You know how sometimes God will put something on your heart and it's like, I don't know how this is gonna happen. I've heard from, people that I love and trust that like this would be an ideal situation, and like I've had the desire deep down to do it, but I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. And it's crazy just to now be, we literally were in Chiang Mai this past weekend, we were in Chiang Mai this past weekend. So that was like our big July trip. In May, we were in Koh Samui, which is one of the islands here in Thailand. And then next month, we are going to Pattaya, which is one of the beaches down here in Thailand. So now it's just like, we're doing it. It wasn't on the timeline that I thought or that, I wanted, but in truly trusting that God's plan is bigger and better, it's like, this wasn't even on my mind when I was over there getting, grumpy on the couch and sad that I was going to have to be doing solo trips. But like, it wasn't by the way, it wasn't a matter of having to do solo trips. It was like I was still committed to seeing the world, and there were a couple stipulations that Darian was experiencing with his employer and with school, where he wasn't able to come with me on, like, when I came out to Thailand 2 years ago. But anywho, that's not the point. The point here is that we're doing it and it's lit. So with that adventure, I must say that it is so affordable to just like go out and try new things out here. So some days this adventure looks like tomorrow. Like tomorrow we're gonna go do a Thai cooking class. And so some days, like, it's more of like touristy stuff that I either didn't get to do when I came here as a tourist, or stuff that we see on TikTok and we're like, shoot, people literally fly all the way out here to do XYZ activity. Like, this is our backyard, let's go do it. And it's stuff that like we know that we would enjoy doing. And like the floating market is another thing. When we were in Chiang Mai, we saw the elephants. And so, you know, taking advantage of the city that we're in, the proximity that we have to other really exciting cities within Thailand, but also different countries. So we're planning to go to Bali in a few months as well. The girls are saying we really need to go to Vietnam while we're out here. And so, yeah, it's exciting to know that like you're not paying 1,000 USD for an economy seat to come out here and, you know, do these types of activities. Like, we can just plan it and do it. And I think like the cooking class I had mentioned, there's an app called Get Your Guide that I used as a tourist. And that cooking class, it was 58 USD for a 4-hour cooking class. And I think we're making like 4 dishes, including a dessert. And so 58 for the both of us. It's too late for me to do math. Sorry, mom and dad, but I don't even want to think too hard because I might just, anyways. So yeah, so that was 58. We are excited to experience the different movie theaters out here. So there are movie theaters that have beds, which I have no business being on because I can barely stay awake through a movie sitting up straight, but still a cool concept. They have some, like we went to one a couple weeks ago to see Toy Story 5, and it was essentially like a lounge. Like, think of the lounge that you go to when you're in the airport, but they had a lounge as you wait for the movie to come on. So essentially it was like an hour, you had an hour time frame to have a full meal. Like, it was basically you get up, get whatever you want, similar to a lounge. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to drink some tea tonight. Okay. So yeah, you had a nice big meal beforehand. And then you got to choose like what the different popcorn flavors that you wanted, the different drinks that you wanted. By the time you got to your seat, they had like first class seats, so we paid for the best experience, because why not? I think we paid $75 USD for 2 seats, and this included the meals and the unlimited popcorn, unlimited drinks, all that. And so yeah, like, it's just like, this is something that there's no way we could have the same experience back in the US, so why not? Blanket when we got there, recliner, plush seat. So it's stuff like that where it's like, just do it. Like, if we have the means and, you know, we have the time and the capacity, like, why not? So some weekends it'll look like us going to see different malls, because you can literally spend hours in each mall. Just like, it's so fascinating seeing how much thought went into the design and the different stores that are in each mall and different scents, and it's a whole experience. We also are being intentional around leveraging my PTO days. So there's PTO days, yes, when it comes to companies out here in Thailand, but there's also public holidays. I believe with my company we get 17. So like last week was a prime example where, this week It's been such a long week. A couple days ago, today's Friday, on Tuesday, it was a public holiday. So now it's like, being as efficient as possible with leveraging your PTO days in tandem with public holidays in order to maximize your time off, right? So we ended up doing a long weekend where we were in Chiang Mai. I only had to use one PTO day, but we ended up spending 4 days there, and it was amazing. So that is even adventure for us, where it's going to experience a different city. Going to, we did one excursion for that trip just because we really needed to prioritize rest. But yeah, Pattaya will go there in a few weeks, and that'll be a fun time. So those have been really cool. There's tons of like cute coffee shops. There's tons of different neighborhoods within Bangkok. So if you think about New York City, you have like a Harlem, which is a very different feel from a Brooklyn, which is a very different feel from like Times Square, like, being in the heart of like the true touristy area. And so we have yet to even scratch the surface with experiencing other neighborhoods. And there's a neighborhood particularly called Ari that I'm looking forward to experiencing, because it's apparently like cutesy, artsy, whimsy neighborhood with like a ton of like really fun cafes and all that jazz. So there's so much to see and do here without having to pay an arm and a leg. So yeah, that is the third big component. It's just like adventure, like why not? So I think now we are at a point where we're just looking to experience as many moments of awe as we can while we're out here. And so that balance of rest, adventure, community, and work, still figuring it out. Like it's not all perfect, but when we were going to Chiang Mai, there was a baby in the row right in front of us. I had asked the mom, I was like, how old is she? Because it was so adorable. We were landing and you could see like the mountain ranges and just like how beautiful they were. And then you had like the houses, a lot of the houses had like that burnt reddish orange, like terracotta look to them. And so we're going through the clouds and you can finally see the mountain ranges, and the baby is just keeps going on repeat. Wow, 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 wow. And it was it was the cutest thing, but it reminded me of going through some of my B-roll, like some of the recordings I had done from my past visits to Thailand, where I was like really in my touristy bag, and the amount of times I was just like, wow, that is so cool. This is so beautiful. I can't believe this. Thank you, Jesus. Like, how do we collect more of those moments? And so that I'm looking forward to that a lot. We haven't really done much of the nightlife scene. I don't necessarily plan to. Maybe checking out some of the rooftops, and if there are like really cool DJ sets, like going to experience those. But we have plenty on our plate. So what we've been doing is just like mapping out quarterly how we want to spend each weekend, so that how sometimes if you're not intentional about how you spend your time, the time will just pass by and you'll be like, dang, what did I do? Like, we want to be able to, not to the point where we're just like exhausting ourselves, like trying to check all these things off, but being intentional to the point where we're so glad that we did Chiang Mai in July. We're so glad that we went to the first class movie experience in June. Like, just making sure that we make the most out of our time here. So I did see a comment in yesterday's video. I'll get back to you. Said community member who made this comment. I'll get back to you in the actual comment section, but I did see the ask for us to do a breakdown of finances. So I will spend some time tomorrow morning, since we'll have a bit of a quieter and slower morning, since it'll be Saturday, and I'll look through high level, like rent, utilities, food, excursions, quote unquote, but just like dilly-dally danchas and have a breakdown prepared to report out tomorrow. So it is 8:20. I'm going to get a massage tomorrow. I have been stressed. I have been working. And yeah, it's time for a reset. So probably gonna do like a 3-hour massage tomorrow and get the rest in. Who am I kidding? Tomorrow we are doing our cooking class. So Sunday I will get a nice massage. Might even tickle my fancy and go to an onsen, but we'll see. Anywho, hope you all have a lovely Friday, a lovely day, whatever day it is that you're watching this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.